What's good, y'all? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles, and you're listening to Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where you know we always keep it real. Let's get straight into it, man. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Share a friend, share a friend. And let's get into some real talk. Boom. It's going to be a shorter little preview. I'm going to do a little longer one actually tomorrow with Treasure Stat Baby from It Is What It Is. She's a big Steelers fan, and we're going to go through the whole preview with her, do some friendly banter with her, but we gonna whip their ass. The PA State, come on, PA State championship. The Steelers haven't beat the Eagles in I don't know how long, but I'm first gonna start this off not even about the Eagles. Let's talk about the 49ers. Now, I posted something and I'll say it here. Mom, I love you a lot, and if you text me about cleaning the dishes. When I come home for winter break and stuff, for Christmas, I know you'll be cooking and all that. And you ask me, are the dishes washed? I'm gonna send you a screenshot of Debo Samuel. You'd be like, what, son? They're washed. He's washed. He's washed. He's had one good season in 2021. He's living off one all-pro season in 2021. Now, it's very, very funny with Debo Samuel, right? Because Debo was the same guy last year that was calling James Bradbury trash. Now, you might have been right about that, but that's a story for another day. We're talking about how this guy now is trash. So it's very, very funny how the football gods humble some of these players. And it shows that every dog has its day, brother. Every dog has its day. So now you tweeting, and it's funny to me the fact that Debo Samuel ain't getting that much attention for being a bigger diva than A.J. Brown was, and A.J. Brown wasn't even being a diva. He was keeping it real. Debo Samuel goes on Twitter and says, I'm not getting the ball, and then Purdy gives him a layup, and Cuz drop it. He sold the crib. He sold the crib, and he knew he did. That's why he was just looking up at the sky. Bro, that was your fate, bro. That was your fate. Did that to yourself. You should have kept your mouth shut. You should have. And I agree with Shannon Sharp when he was like, if you were going to be loud about not getting touches, you should be loud about apologizing and say, hey, that was on me. Sorry, Purdy. Lack of production, this. The 49ers, this is exactly why I said, like, yo, like, this is why they're going to collapse. I don't care about injuries. All right, so what? You got injuries. Everybody got injuries. I don't care about that. But this is a franchise that's the bougie Cowboys. They haven't won since 1995. My parents were in college. Now, I just graduated grad school. That's why I'm a little bit spiffy today. A little bit spiffy, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at this 49ers team. I'm being like, y'all Super Bowl window is closed. It's closed. Because y'all getting old, y'all getting injured, and this team doesn't look like it's all together on the same page. You're drafting wide receivers, then you pay a wide receiver in Ayuk. Doesn't make any sense. You already paid Debo Samuel. He's falling off. Christian McCaffrey has injury issues. Brock Purdy ain't that guy. I ain't going to say like he's a scrub enough, and I think he's a good quarterback, but you're going to pay a B plus at times, but really like a B quarterback, A plus money. That's going to set y'all back again. Again, y'all real chance was when Purdy was on that rookie contract. Now you got to pay the man, and you got no rings to show for it. Here's my last point on the 49ers. Then we're going to transfer over to the Eagles and Steelers. Nick Sirianni got a lot of crap for, players after the Buccaneers game, like acting out of character and guys on social media and stuff. Where's that same energy for Kyle Shanahan? One of his star wide receivers, and Debo Samuel, was acting out on Twitter. And then what happens? He's sold. He's sold in the game. But I just see like they just do whatever they want in San Francisco. So my question to y'all is like, when are we gonna keep that same energy for Kyle Shanahan? You got guys out here leaving mid game because a guy who's an all pro caliber player that got injured in the Super Bowl came back from injury and was balling, but he in his feelings. I know if that was Nick Sirianni, people would say that was Nick Sirianni. People would say, "Oh, well, he don't have that pulse of the team." So where's that same energy for Kyle Shanahan? But I get it. You know, you like the guy, whatever, overrated coach. It's cool. It's cool, but I just want to point out the fact that yes, we were critical of Nick Sirianni, but I'm gonna give the guy credit when credit's due, which we're gonna do a little bit. And then with the guy in of his Kyle Shanahan, it's like he hasn't been that good this season. The 49ers have put up yards, but they've been putrid in the red zone. Flat out putrid. So it's just funny how this 49ers team is. It's funny how Debo is. And I love seeing I'm a Debo hater for sure. I am a Debo hater. I literally want to see that man fail. Because he talks so much trash. And Fletcher Cox had to go ahead and post that joint on Instagram after they lost and say, guess what? I got something you don't. A ring, you scrub. And that's how we carrying it, bro. So as an Eagles fan, I love the 49ers downfall. I love it. But shout out my man Ben, he from the Bay and all that stuff. I like you, bro. But that man Debo, I can't stand that guy. Let's go to the Eagles Steelers, bro. Eagles Steelers right now. All right, boom. First thing that pops out, George Pickens ain't playing. So if George Pickens ain't playing and Russ's best attribute at this point of his career, which has always been a good attribute of his, but his best attribute, especially now, because he's not as mobile as he once was, is his depot. So they're losing their biggest deep threat. That's a huge issue. I'm looking at this Bengals game that the Steelers had, and it was the most prolific game offensively for this Steelers team. You know, Russell Wilson, 400 plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 82 QBR, 126 passer rating. He was on another level. He was snapping for sure. Who had some touches? You got Pickens, 3 receptions, 74 yards. Pat Freiermuth, 6 receptions, 68 yards. Jalen Warren, 4 receptions, 55 yards. Najee Harris, 6 receptions, 54 yards. So we're seeing Van Jefferson got a bomb for 43 yards. But it starts with George Pickens taking the top off the defense. So if you don't have him, do I trust Pat Freiermuth, whatever his name is, to go ahead and kill the Eagles secondary? Hell no. Do I trust Jalen Warren to go crazy? No. Najee Harris? No. Van Jefferson, I don't, none of those guys strike fear in my heart. And then talk about their rushing attack. It's cool, but I like Jalen Carter and them boys to feast on that jump. To feast, bro. To feast. And ultimately, like, because of the AJ Brown and Hurts drama, it robbed us this week of talking about some key players on this defense and this overall team that have been hooping. And I'm not saying this is Hurts' fault or AJ fault, but it's just because of what the discourse was, what we had to talk about. Now we get to actually talk about some guys that are hooping. CJ Garner Johnson been snapping. He needs his flowers. Lane Johnson was there for Shady McCoy when he broke the Eagles' all-time record. And guess what? 10 years later, he's there for Saquon Barkley, breaking the Eagles' all-time record in rushing yards in a season. That is longevity. We got Zach Bond playing like an all-pro linebacker week in, week out. Jalen Carter is showing why he will be a favorite or one of the favorites to be Defensive Player of the Year next year. And he should at least be in the top 6, top 7 conversation this year. I ain't saying he's going to win it or be the favorite, all that. I'm just saying I want him to be in the conversation. I'm seeing a guy in Grant Calcaterra that got his first receiving touchdown. You saw how Saquon Barkley was hyped for the man and all that stuff. So unfortunately, the whole drama kind of robbed us from celebrating these guys earlier on this week, but we're going to celebrate them now. And I believe that these guys and Grant Calcaterra, CJ Garner Johnson, we know what Lane Johnson brings. Let's talk about Jordan Mailata, too. Jordan Mailata is a leader. He's a leader. I love what he said. This is not the A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts show. It's not. We're worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know that T.J. Watt, is an all-time great, first ballot Hall of Famer, all that stuff, amazing player, all-decade player, all that stuff, bro. But I like the Eagles' offensive line to neutralize him. They've done it before. They'll do it again. Whether he's matched up against Lane Johnson or Jordan Mailata, I like our chances. I love our chances, actually. Now, he's a great player. He might make a play here or there, but ultimately, I'm looking at this stuff and being like, what? I got Lane Johnson. I got Jordan Mailata. I'm cool. But what's the elephant in the room? We're going to talk about Hurts and AJ. That was super hypocritical of me. But we're talking about like what they're gonna do on the field, not talking about off the field. I don't care if they're not friends, whatever the case may be. But with some guys, I literally made up with one of my best friends in life. We were mad at each other for over a year. We talked out as men, we cool. Like, bro, nobody worry about that stuff off the field. But we talking about on the field. Let's talk about on the field real quick. On the field, I believe A.J. Brown has a monster game. And I don't think the Eagles are going to force it. I actually think Devontae Smith gets active early on because there's going to be so much attention towards A.J. Brown's way. But I want Jalen Hurts to look for that deep ball for A.J. I do. And I believe he will. There were some misses in that Panthers game. I think a lot of the times Hurts plays down his competition, as I said before, but against more elite teams, against more elite coaches, against more elite defenses and all this stuff, he rises up to the occasion, and I'm taking that to the bank. Got to realize there's very few quarterbacks that are elite or just, frankly, not that many quarterbacks have beat A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts when they played together, bruh. They haven't. So I'm going with this deal every day of the week, bro. We standing with these guys. But look, the Steelers defense, like, they have big names. And I'm not saying that they're not good or anything like that. But, like, T.J. Watt is such a big name. I think he ends up making this defense a little bit more overrated than they probably are. I mean, they let Jameis Winston go off on him. They let Dak Prescott go off on him, and I don't even think CeeDee Lamb went crazy that game. You feel me? It was Jalen Tolbert and Jay Ferguson going off, bruh. Against the Cowboys team with no running game. So the Steelers have shown this season you can pass on them. They're not no world beaters defending the pass. They're not. They're flat out not. They're ranked 18th in the league. 18th. And ultimately, when A.J. Brown said the issue is passing, I looked at it as him saying, all right, like, we need to just get better at this. It's not Hurts just throwing. I mean, yeah, it's Hurts throwing it, but it's other components in that. It's play calling. I think that's the big issue. I feel like if you are the worst team in the first quarter offensively, that's on the head coach. Because you literally game plan for scripted plays in the first quarter. So Kellen Moore, this is a prime opportunity to go ahead and put some points up in the first quarter. Let's change the narrative. Because what we can happen is have a slow first quarter, then the link starts getting rowdy, and then now you're hearing boos, and then now it's a tighter game, and that plays into the Steelers' hands. No, we want to at least be up 7-10 going into the second quarter. And then really you can go ahead and rely on Saquon Barkley to go ahead and take you through, run that clock. But I don't even think that this Steelers offense puts up more than 12 points this game. I'll say it again. I'm going to clip this too. I don't think this Steelers offense puts more than 12 points against this Eagles defense. I don't. It's a reason why the Eagles, at the time of this recording, are 5.5 point favorites. I know folks are saying, well, Mike Tomlin as an underdog, this is his record, and he's the best guy to bet on as an underdog, and the Steelers are going to cover. That's a big number. It's a reason why it's a big number because they realize how much of an impact George Pickens not playing means to the Steelers team. And they already were in some like crazy offensive unit. Like they weren't something like, oh my God, there's offensive juggernaut. Like Russ has helped them a lot and they've been better since adding Russ, but they not no world beers or anything like that. So when you take away their best offensive weapon and Najee Harris ain't no superstar, he cool, he above average, but he ain't no superstar. I look at it and be like, hey, I think this Eagles defense really eats. But with Jalen Hurts, shut these guys up. Shut these guys. I've had to hear all week all this BS of you're not this, you're not that, bro. Shut these guys up. Shut them up. The passing game doesn't need some work. All right, cool, yeah. But it's kind of like I look at Jalen Hurts like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler ain't the most talented. He can't jump the highest. He don't have the best shot. He don't have like just those God-given gifts that you see in like a LeBron or Steph or like whoever, Giannis. But he wins, dog. Been to 2 finals. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts. He don't got the biggest arm. He not the quickest, not the fastest. He not the most accurate, but he wins. And so I think judging Hurts on a game against the Carolina Panthers is pretty wild. That's like judging Jimmy Butler in a regular season game. For him dropping 12 points. It's like, come on, come playoff time, he not gonna do that. When it matters, he not gonna do that. So I think Jalen Hurts and Jimmy Butler are great comps because they might not play their best throughout the whole entire season, but when it's game time, they show up. You can say it's glazed and you can say whatever you want. But all I know is every time A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts have been together, it's been one elite quarterback that has really beat them when it's really, really mattered. And that's Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and it wasn't even Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown's fault. Now, look, tomorrow we're going to have a special episode with Treasure Wilson, Stat Baby from It Is What It Is. That's my girl. That's my dog. Feel me? Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Fly Eagles fly. And let me get right for my little NYU ceremony. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Real Talk with MJ. We are out.